Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, Thursday night, late night edition, as the Louisville Cardinals continue to roll in the ACC. And although the national media might not want to give credit to this Louisville team, we've been talking about them all year. This is a team that when you play as good of defense as they do and run the football like they do, this is a hard team to beat and a legit contender in the ACC. Want to break down what we saw against Virginia. My biggest takeaway: you play 12 games in a college football season. Not every game is going to be pretty. Figuring out how to win these kind of games in the fourth quarter is absolutely massive. And that's exactly what this Cardinals program did. Really fired up about this team. I'm going to get into a little instant reaction. Before we do, again, just want to say thank you to you guys, and especially the Louisville fans. Like, this has been a program that we've loved talking about. It's a legit team that not many people want to talk about. The amount of support y'all show, it really does mean a lot. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And more importantly, would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. And without further ado, let's get into this one. I kind of want to start with this Virginia team. Although 2 wins coming into this matchup, you take a look at their body of work and how they've played really good teams. This has been a team that's been feisty all year. True freshman Anthony Calandria played a phenomenal football game. You got Virginia's best shot. When you're a top 15 team in the country, you're going to get teams' best shots. It's exactly what the Cardinals got tonight, and they were able to get it done. Again, this is a Virginia team that beat North Carolina when they were ranked number 10 in the country, played James Madison to a 1-point game. That's a top 25 team in the AP poll. You look at the game against Miami. That one went into overtime. NC State, a 3-point loss. Although this Virginia team only 2 wins on paper, is a pretty solid team in the ACC. And the Louisville Cardinals definitely did not play their best football tonight, but they were able to find a way to win. And again, when you play defense like Louisville does, and you run the football like they can, you're a hard team to beat. Now, I want to get into some takeaways that I had on my note sheet. Let's start with this Louisville offense. Let's start with Jack Plummer. Jack Plummer, and I think a lot of Louisville fans would say, is an average quarterback. And I would agree with that. We've talked about it in the comment section at length. I'm excited for when this offense and this Jeff Brohm offense gets a quarterback of high caliber. He's going to get a good quarterback in here. And when he gets a legit all ACC caliber quarterback in this offense, it's going to be taken up to another level. That being said, they brought Jack Plummer in to kind of steady the ship. He's a guy that's experienced in this Jeff Brohm offense, and he's working within the offense. And you have to give a lot of credit to Jeff Brohm for designing an offense that Jack Plummer can operate in. You obviously have to limit those really bad turnovers. The pick six almost cost him the football game. But Jack Plummer, on aggregate, looked pretty solid. The ball was getting out on time, quickly, on time. That's a good recipe. And they're designing the offense to give him those short in rhythm throws. And I think that's really important. But again, the identity of this team is running the football. You have a very good offensive line that I think is significantly underrated in the ACC, and 2 phenomenal running backs in Jawar Jordan and Isaac Garendo. And when you run the football like that, you're going to have some of those deep shots in the fourth quarter, and you got to capitalize on them. That's exactly what this Louisville offense did. And quite frankly, as much as we said Jack Plummer might be just an average quarterback, he can throw a pretty nice deep ball, and you know Jeff Brohm is going to scheme up some of those plays during that game. When your identity is running the football and those safeties and linebackers start getting sucked in, there are going to be opportunities for this Louisville team to attack that deeper third. And when it mattered most, they went to it and they hit that 60-yard touchdown. I would like to see a little bit more of it. This is a really talented wide receiver, and I get Jamari Thrash not fully healthy, but Jamari Thrash, Kevin Coleman, Amari Huggins, Bruce, I'm probably leaving out a few wide receivers. This is a really good wide receiver room that can make plays down the field. And when you combine that with an offense that can run the football, with guys who can get behind the defense, that's when you're going to see those explosive plays. And that's what you saw when it mattered most. That's what Louisville went to, and it paid off in a big way. Now let's get to the reason this Louisville team is special in 2023. 1, running the football on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, this team is absolutely elite. And you saw the recipe at times. And Anthony Calandria, again, you got to give credit where credit's due. This Virginia team, true freshman Anthony Calandria, played a phenomenal game. And The turnovers, I mean, a little bit of a factor, but he's going to be kind of a loose cannon. He's going to make some splash plays, and he did a really good job limiting those negative plays and hitting some of those explosive plays. You got Virginia's best shot on the offensive side of the ball, but on aggregate, this defense is so tough, and it starts with creating turnovers. And this is a team that causes so much havoc. They bring pressure. They disguise their pressure extremely well. When you have guys like Mason Rager, Ashton Gelati, Steven Haran, like those guys can get pressure on the quarterback, and you got a bunch of ball hawks in the back end. Devin Neal had a phenomenal night. Obviously, the interception, massive pass breakup in the red zone as well. It's a great combination, right? When you have the ability to stop the run, this is a top 20 rushing defense in the country. When you have the ability to stop the run, win on first and second down, force teams into those third and long situations with the pass rush they have, they're going to create turnovers. They're leading the ACC right now, and that's kind of been the story of this program, or this team this year, is the defense has been creating timely turnovers, has been extremely good against the run, and going back to the identity of this team. We're going to run the football, control the clock, and we're going to play really good defense. And when you do that, and you shorten some of these games, I could see a game against Florida State, who's going to be a favorite in that one, looking up at halftime, and it's a 10-13 game where Louisville's hanging in there because they play really good defense and they run the football at a high level. And you got to throw in the special teams as well. I mean, the special teams coming up with a pump block that results in a touchdown, a complete game from the Cardinals. Was it their best performance? Absolutely not. But this is a team that's figuring out how to win games, and that's a dangerous team heading into kind of that postseason, end of the season stretch. One last thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to give you guys my take on the offense, fully recognizing Jeff Brohm is a hell of a lot smarter than me, especially when it comes to calling an offense and designing an offense. I'd like to see to stick to the ground a little bit more. You take a look at what Louisville was able to do running the football. Jawar Jordan, 17 carries, 95 yards, average 5.5 yards per carry. Isaac Guerrero probably should be getting more than 6 touches. And again, outsider looking in, but this is a running back room that you talk about the spread. I think this running game should be used a little bit more. And it was working early in the game. I felt like they went away from it. And then you kind of started playing from behind. This is a Louisville team that wants to grab a lead early, run the football, and kind of boa constrictor, close out games. They weren't really put in a spot to do that. But I felt like for a little bit of that game, late second quarter, early third quarter, they went away from running that. They went away from their identity, and that's running the football. And so if there was a criticism I had, this is a Virginia defense that really showed no reason they could stop you on the run game. This coming in, they were 128th in rushing defense. Like, I thought this game would be a little bit more dominated by Louisville, and I feel like they kind of went away from it. I mean, you had the 14-0 lead, and I feel like you had a chance to put Virginia away, and they just didn't do that. Again, nitpicking here, and Jeff Brohm would say this. Haven't heard his press conference interview yet, but he'll say this was not the cleanest game. That being said, figuring out a way. I mean, when you throw a pick six and you have some of the mistakes, the fumble recovery for a touchdown, like those are upset material. Like when you say Virginia had a pick six, they fumbled, and then got picked up and ran back for a touchdown. Those kind of things result in top 15 teams getting beat. Louisville was able to avoid that. A massive performance. Again, this is a team that is going to be dangerous. And I think you take a look at Florida State and say, who do you not want to play in the ACC championship game? It's probably going to be them Louisville Cardinals because they're physical, they run the football, and they play good defense. Keeping my voice down because I got people sleeping in the house, but I am very excited about this team. Massive win for Jeff Brohm and the Louisville Cardinals. Appreciate you guys checking the boys out. Wanted to hop on, talk a little Cardinals football. If you enjoy the content, again, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.